Hi guys, how are you doing this week? I am doing okay. I'm really pushing it this week. It is literally Friday at 5 p.m. I have not gone this long without finishing the video in a long time, and when I went to bed last night I was really worried about it. I was like, oh man, I really need to do this tomorrow. But anyway, so this week I decided that I would do a Rwby screenshot redraw because, well, I love Rwby so much and I did not know what else to do. Seriously, I was like, I don't know what to do. I guess I'll just do fan art. And I feel like some of the only fan art that I can, well, not get away with, I guess that's interesting to the most amount of people who watch my channel, would be Rwby screenshot redraw. Didn't have to be a screenshot redraw, but I didn't feel like using my imagination for this. So I just kind of was like, let me just look for a screenshot so I can redo it. And then of course I chose one with technically 5 characters. I don't know what I was thinking. And because of that, I couldn't even record most of it because I didn't want the video to be too long. So I ended up recording only the sketch, line art, and basically some of the coloring. And then at the end I sort of ended it before I went into shading and background because I was like, okay, you guys have seen most of everything I could do for this. It's fine. Let me just stop the recording now so it doesn't turn into a very, very long video. I'm actually really happy with how a lot of this turned out. Probably the favorite part of it for me is I think how I drew Rwby was pretty cute. The rest of them are pretty basic. I don't know why, but I'm like, it looks like my style of Rwby, but not anything too special except for Rwby herself. I just think I did a good job on her, or at least made her look more interesting than the others. I did sort of cheat and give them like I gave Yang a different expression, and I made sure everyone's eyes were visible, which was not the case in the screenshot, and I just sort of looked on Google for the screenshot. I didn't actually go to the show for this, so if there was a screenshot of that scene that had all their faces completely visible, whatever, well, now I've done a screenshot redraw, and it's different. Besides that little cheat, I didn't really have much different in my redraw. I'd say probably the biggest, or at least maybe most noticeable to me, the difference of Weiss's foot. I'm sorry, I know feet can do that. I know legs can do that. But it looks really weird on the 3D model, and I felt like it would look even weirder in my drawing, so I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna change the foot. So I did. I think that was the biggest things that I changed, though, besides the fact that I barely tried on the background. I was just sort of splash the colors on, it's fine. I guess you'll see that at the end since I didn't record any of that. I was just like, I color picked the background color and painted it really lazily. I was just like, line of one color, line of another color, and you'll see what I mean by that. But anyway, so I did promise 2 weeks ago that I would continue to talk about Rwby, and I don't even know if I left off somewhere of what I was saying, but I might as well talk about the characters of the Rwby team itself. So I did mention the other week that Yang is my favorite character of all time in this Rwby universe. I don't think I told you about how I felt about the other characters that much, so we'll say this. I feel like my favorite characters in seasons 1 through 3, or volumes 1 through 3, are different from volumes 4 through 5, I guess. And I mean, it is true. So, volumes 1 through 3, my favorite characters were Yang, Ren, and Penny. I also had some other favorites, but those were my top 3. And I still love all 3 of them very much. But when it went to volume 4, my opinions really changed on who was my favorite character. In Volume 4 itself is different from how I felt about Volume 5 as well, so in the early volumes, I really didn't like Weiss. I didn't hate her by the time Volume 3 was over, but I didn't like her that much. And then I always really didn't like Blake. And it's because she reminds me of Sasuke. I'm sorry, it's just, that's how it is. I never liked Sasuke growing up, and she reminds me of Sasuke, so it's just, that's how it's gonna be. And then Rwby's like, sort of, I'm indifferent to. I respect her as a person and character. I think she makes a lot of sense. She's very naive. She's younger, so it makes sense to me. Very hopeful and all this, and that's what this sort of world needs. So I'm sort of indifferent on Rwby, but it's not like I dislike her, like I disliked Weiss and Blake in volumes 1 through, well, basically just the early bits of Rwby, because I did not dislike them by the ends of, like, volume 2 and 3. Volume 4, when everything changed, I had some different favorite characters. After seeing Weiss's family home, quote-unquote, and seeing what she goes through and really seriously relating to her, not in riches, but in how she was manipulated. Like, I really feel for that situation, because I've been there before. I think a lot of us have. So seeing her like that and seeing her so sad and everything, and it really opened my eyes. So in volume 4, Weiss was actually my favorite character. I still liked Yang, I still liked my other favorites, but Weiss became my top favorite in volume 4. And then, surprisingly, Crow became my second favorite in volume 4, I believe. And I really didn't like him in volume 3. I thought he was really arrogant. I just thought there was a lot of traits to his character that I really didn't enjoy. But then, as time went on, the way he just cares so much for Rwby and Yang, that really got me. So he became my second favorite character. I love him very much. To this day in volume 5, he's still one of my favorites. And then, can't be completely sure, because nowadays I know that Oscar, the new kid, I know he's one of my favorites now, but I can't really remember if in volume 4 he was my third favorite. I know I loved him, but I don't know if I loved him as much as I do now. Like, as in to put him in my top 5 sort of thing. So it's like, shrugs, I think he was number 3. I just know for sure that Weiss and Crow were numbers 1 and 2. And I should mention that once we got to volume 5, my favorites changed again, and Yang is once again back at the top. Really, really proud of her in volume 5. Loved her so much in that. After volume 5, second fave is probably Oscar. Third fave is probably Crow. And in general, I still like Ren and Weiss a lot. So, you know, they're in the top general area. And I guess I should mention in the original first 3 volumes, Pyrrha was very high on my list of characters that I liked, and I love her even now. I seriously relate to her with the whole, just how she feels about being put on a pedestal and everything. Like, I seriously relate to that, so. But I think because of that is why she wasn't my all-time favorite. I don't know why, because, like, technically everything about her, she should be my favorite character, because she's really nice, she's really strong, she's really cool, and I do love her. It's just like, for some reason, Yang is at my top. I don't know why. I'm, like, thinking now, I'm like, why is Yang my favorite? She's, like, mean / angry a lot, and I don't feel anger very often, so, like, I don't relate to that. In fact, I don't relate to most of Yang, or almost any of her. I don't know why I like her so much. Like, logically, Pyrrha should be my favorite, but for some reason, that's not the case. Well, anyway, so this video is coming to a close. I hope you enjoyed my screenshot redraw. Let me know who your favorite Rwby characters are, if you do watch Rwby, if you do like it. But if you don't watch or like Rwby, let me know what your favorite fairy tale is. Well, what's your favorite fairy tale? Yay, relevant quote. But anyway, tell me your favorite character or fairy tale, depending on whatever. Or do both. I don't even care. In fact, I want that. Maybe you like a certain fairy tale the most, but don't like the character in Rwby, or vice versa. Like, my favorite fairy tale of all time is Red Riding Hood, but Rwby's not my favorite, so, you know, and I actually really don't like the story of Goldilocks, but the Goldilocks character is my favorite, so. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. It was great to draw and talk for you again this week, and bye-bye!